Hey guys, Colton Lindbergh here with eXp Realty. Today we'll be doing a deep dive into San Pedro. We're going to go over pros and cons of living in San Pedro and what you need to know before you make the move here in 2025. So if you guys don't know who I am, like I said, I'm Colton Lindbergh. I've been a realtor now in the South Bay area for over 5 years, focusing primarily in San Pedro, Torrance, Redondo Beach. The first thing we're going to talk about is the history of San Pedro. We're going to look into the amazing history here in San Pedro. That way, so if you're considering moving, you had to have a background knowledge. We're going to look at some of the neighborhoods here in San Pedro. We're also going to look at the things to do in San Pedro. Then we're going to look at the pros and cons of actually living in San Pedro. And then you can let me know in the comments down below what you think. All right, guys, so we'll just jump right into it. The first thing is the history here in San Pedro. So San Pedro was actually founded by an explorer in the 1700s with the name of Cabrillo. That's where we get Cabrillo Beach. He was a Portuguese sailor who ended up discovering it and calling it Point Fuma because he looked out onto the land and saw smokestacks from the native people there and called it Point Smoke. So we have already kind of a seafaring sea identity to San Pedro, and then over time, as we get into the 1800s, we now see that San Pedro as a port starts to begin to develop. And the late 1800s, San Pedro gets a major upgrade with the addition of rail lines, which means that more goods can come in through the San Pedro port, or what's shaping out to become the port of LA, and which means that now more goods can come in, more goods can ship out, which means more people need to be here to work. So now people are starting to move into San Pedro and Wilmington. And it's actually really interesting. The history of San Pedro and Wilmington kind of go hand in hand because these two towns really were just this major hub for imports and exports. So these two cities kind of grow up right just side by side like sisters until we get to what we have today, where they are still very, very, very hardworking people who live down in San Pedro. A lot of them do work in the docks, same thing with Wilmington as well. So really, really cool to see that. Now, with the introduction of the rail car, we also do get a lot more people coming in to live here. People like Croatian people, Norwegian people, Portuguese people, a lot of the seafaring people, the Japanese people, we have Irish people, Italians, all shapes and sizes are coming down to San Pedro for work and for a steady income to work on the ports. We have fishermen. The Japanese were actually known for really popularizing and almost starting albacore fishing out of San Pedro Harbor. So the tuna that we get in the can way back in the day was probably fished down here in San Pedro and probably still going on today. So that's really, really cool. And it's really cool as we see San Pedro starting to grow in its history. We see canneries and all these different types of port businesses growing and starting in San Pedro and really becoming the major industry in San Pedro. If you're not working at the docks, you're probably working at the cannery. If you're not working at the cannery, you're fishing or you're doing something. So it's really, really cool to see that a port city like San Pedro grow up and really kind of focus around the port and the ocean. So that was a brief history of San Pedro. I highly recommend you guys going and watching some videos on YouTube about San Pedro. It's super, super interesting. Really rich history down here in San Pedro and in Wilmington, and really helped shape all of LA if you think about it. Once the rail line came in from LA all the way to San Pedro, Southern California and Los Angeles as a whole really boomed. San Pedro and the port of LA had a lot to do with that, so it's really, really cool to look into. So now we're going to talk about San Pedro neighborhoods, and to do that, we're going to jump on my computer. So let's go head down there right now.
Okay, so we are now at my computer, and we're going to go over some of the areas in San Pedro. We have South Shores, the Palisades, we have Point Fermin, Vista del Oro, we have Plaza, and then we have North San Pedro, as well as Marilest Pines. And what else? I think I might be forgetting one. Holy Trinity and Barton Hills. Those are the two I was forgetting. So out of all those areas, we're going to start looking at them and seeing what the homes are for sale there and how much they're usually going for. That way so we can get an idea of the neighborhood. So first we're going to look at South Shores, probably the more exclusive side of San Pedro. This is going to be closer to the water, and it's a really, really cool area. We can look at the map here and see that it's all in this area. So San Pedro basically is from here all the way around through here. And we can see that South Shores here is all kind of slightly down where Western ends. So right, Western ends right here, then it turns into 25th Street or Palos Verdes Drive. And South Shores goes down from here all the way to about right here and then up a little bit. So that's all the South Shores properties. Now these are usually in the millions, pretty comfortably in the millions, I should add. So we can see this one's 1.2, basically 1.2, and then 1.8, 1.04, which is surprisingly cheap. So as you can see, basically everything, even condos, are around the millions down over here. So now we will take a look at the Palisades. Also very, very similar to what we just looked at. This is just slightly more down towards the port. And we're going to be also comfortably pretty dang close in the millions. But the interesting thing is condos will be a little bit more affordable down over here. But as we can see, 1.2 for a 4-bedroom, 1.3 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1.6 for a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. So there's a lot of properties just located in this area here. As we can zoom out a little bit, we'll see that it goes from, about, call that 21st Street. Yeah, or 23rd Street actually. But let's call it from about 21st Street, maybe even 19th Street sometimes, and in from about here. But this is different than this part. So it's very nuanced. Everything's very subdivided here, but really cool. And there's a different kind of feel to some of the areas. Now, if we go and look at the Point Fermin area, that's going to be a little bit closer, obviously, to Point Fermin Park, but also still very coastal. So if you want looking for a coastal community, that's a good option too here. So see, this is where Point Fermin starts. Different, right? We just checked out, and also different from South Shores area. But this goes basically all down the port, and then you can obviously go all the way down to about here in Shepherd's Point and everything like that. So really cool area. Ocean views. If you're up on the hills that are ascending, you get some really nice harbor views. Really cool properties. Some of these properties are really old, so that's really cool too. And the price is a little bit less than some of the previous areas that we checked out, but there are some outliers that stand out that are beautiful, like this one. 4-bedroom, 1-bath, has ocean views. We'll look at this really quickly. Really cool houses, really nice views. This house is pretty stunning. So that is Point Fermin. Now, as we look at Vista del Oro, this is slightly more affordable, more towards the freeway a little bit more in San Pedro. As we can see, again, we just looked at this area. Now we're creeping in closer towards the 110, which is up here, and in central San Pedro as well. But yeah, some good properties up in here as well. You can get some harbor views because these are hills that come and run up. So like this property, I bet you probably has a view of the ocean. This is 1.3. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath on that hill, like I said. And there you go. So you can see a little bit of the ocean right there. So all the areas, again, like very different. This is more, I would say, like city feeling. You feel like a proper city, whereas the previous areas we checked out almost feel like a proper harbor town or something like that. Now, if we look in Plaza is going to be lower down in San Pedro and closer to the freeway. So we're just looking up here. Now we're looking down here in this area down here in San Pedro. Definitely the houses are smaller, more affordable. This is a condo here, or a townhouse, and then a single family home here, and a single family home here as well. So really cool. There's some really cool houses down here. You're closer to the port, so you hear a little bit more port activity, but also very affordable, really good area as well. Now, if we look down into the next area of Miralles Pines, this is going to be up closer towards the PV side of the hill. Not a huge area. It's above Western, so that's nice. Above Western is a really good spot to be. There's nice little canyons that run in through here, some rivers. But this is Miralles area right through here. There is a condo community called the Miralles Pines that are up here as well. And this is Miralles Drive that goes all the way, and there's a school up here, but that's technically PV. So this is right on the border of PV, and the neighborhoods are really cute, really small, really kind of like a neighborhood feel over here in Miralles area. Now, if we look at the next area, we're looking at Holy Trinity. Holy Trinity is a very good area as well. You're right next to, I think it's named after the school district, Holy Trinity School District, so that's pretty good. And yeah, good areas. We'll look at this on the map here. As we can see, it kind of just fills in from where we stopped for the previous area, a little bit closer to some of these. Some of these are basically right on the freeway. Good area. Some of these are pretty busy streets. Summerlin can be pretty busy. First Street can be pretty busy, but also really good. The price point is very good as well. So looking to where right around the 9s. 5 for a single family home, you can expect to be paying right around the 9s for a really good quality one. Now we're going to go check out the last area, which is going to be Barton Hills. Barton Hills also is just right below the freeway, primarily through this area north, but down low, because there's a place called Northern San Pedro, which is all up and over here. But yeah, Barton Hills, lower down, usually starts below Gaffey just about and goes down this way. Now, the final area we're going to look at is going to be North San Pedro. North San Pedro, like I said, is going to be slightly north of the 110 here. See, so here, all of this area, good area, nice area. There's some really cool parks and stuff down here. There's schools are over here as well, very good. More condos. There's some condos over here that are average price. And this one, again, average price can be right around 1.1 and slightly lower. Good area, good schools, good location, because you're away from the freeway, so you're not right on top of it. some of the areas, but you are have quick access to it. And then Western, obviously the main thoroughfare. And if you need to get to Anaheim to get to the freeway, a lot of really good transportation areas around this way. So cool area to be in. And again, right around 1.1. So that's San Pedro. There's a lot of properties. The average price point in San Pedro right now is right at about 1.1 overall. But as we see, certain areas have differing price points, right? So it could be significantly lower or it can be significantly higher. So really, really interesting. Very, very eclectic here in San Pedro. So there's something for everyone. All right, guys. That's been the neighborhood breakdown. Prices may vary, obviously. If you guys want any in-depth knowledge on this, I'd be more than happy to make a separate video going over these areas more in depth.
So that's the neighborhood breakdown and the costs in some of those areas. And now we're going to look at some of the things to do here in San Pedro. So San Pedro, in my opinion, one of the last affordable beach cities, and there's tons of coastline to go check out. So that's going to be the number one thing to do is go and check out the coastline. You have Cabrillo Beach, you have the aquarium right there, also at Cabrillo Beach, so that's really cool to check out. You also have Palms Beach, which has tide pools during low tide, and that's really, really cool. Also a pretty good surf spot, so if you wanted to go and watch people surf on a bigger swell, go down there and check that out. That's really, really cool. A lot of those guys rip. We also have a lot of really good hikes. We have the hike that goes up from Point Furman all the way up to the Korean Friendship Bell. And then you can go and check out the Korean Friendship Bell, which is really, really cool as well, and a really great part of history. And then while you're at the Korean Friendship Bell, you can go and walk just a little bit further and check out Fort MacArthur. You can check out the barracks. You can check out all the cool little bunkers that were built there during World War II. And there's also a lot of really cool history and some interesting news about the Battle of LA. I'll let you guys go check that out on your own, but really cool history here in San Pedro that is really just right around the corner from anywhere you step. And then in downtown San Pedro, we have the USS Iowa Museum, which is really, really cool. So now, the pros and cons of living in San Pedro. So pro number one is gonna be the lifestyle. Like I said earlier, San Pedro is one of the last affordable beach cities, but it also has a touch of urban feel, so you get the best of both worlds. Now, pro number two is going to be the history. We briefly touched on it already, but the history here in San Pedro is so cool and is so like just right in your face that it really feels like you're living in a culturally significant place. Now, pro number three is going to be the community feel. So some areas of San Pedro, people have been living there for 40, 50 plus years, 2 or 3 plus generations, and you really feel that. And there's also areas of San Pedro that have a really strong artist support, so that's really cool as well. Just overall, the community feel and vibe is going to be pro number three. Now, pro number four is going to be all the amazing things we can do down here in San Pedro, from the restaurants to the bars to some of the museums. There's just so many things you can do. So now we're going to talk about the cons of living in San Pedro. So while it is the most affordable beach city in the South Bay, it is not as affordable as somewhere more inland. That is going to be a con. While relatively affordable compared to South Bay cities, it is not as affordable when compared to some other places. Now, con number two is going to be the traffic. So there is traffic. We are close to freeways, which makes it nice to go and commute to work if you had to. But we also do get traffic jams from everyone trying to go to work or everyone coming back home from work. So for example, Gaffey, right near the 110 where it lets off, that can become very congested during those peak rush hour times. It is something you learn to live with or learn to drive around or get around. That is going to be con number two. Con number three is the industrialization of some parts of San Pedro. Living down there, you will hear noises from the port. You will hear foghorns, bells every now and then. That can be really nice to kind of build this coastal environment, but for some people, that could be a real bummer. Now, for our next con is going to be the crime rate. Now, some areas of San Pedro have a higher crime rate than the national average. When you're thinking about moving to San Pedro, definitely talk to a knowledgeable realtor who knows about the areas and knows about the little pockets of San Pedro that might not be as desirable, but they can help you, guide you along. But if you're new to the city and you just kind of want to go with the cheapest thing, might not be in the best neighborhood and you might experience some of that. So that is something to be aware of, and that's going to be a con. Now, the final con is going to be the education system. When you compare the overall grades of schools in the South Bay, San Pedro is one of the lower ones, and that's because it is technically under LA Unified School District. LA Unified School District is not the best one compared to the school districts in Torrance or Palos Verdes, but those areas do come at more of a premium than San Pedro, so that is going to be a con. Now, if you were looking to move to a great school district and the size of home didn't matter as much, a single family home and a condo or townhouse in Torrance might be comparable in price. That might be a way you might want to travel down there if school districts is your main priority. So if you're thinking about moving to San Pedro in 2025, I hope this video helped you or made you think a little more critically about moving. If you guys have any questions or want some of my own personal opinions on San Pedro, feel free to leave a comment down below or reach out to me directly, 310-896-1871. All my contact information is in the description below. I hope this helped you guys. I've been Colton Lindbergh with eXp Realty. Have a good rest of your day.